That's a lot of hiking gear. Much better. Now, let's talk about it. Knowing what to bring with you on your hiking adventures can make a huge impact. It can either be nice and enjoyable, or you might end up having a tiring and miserable experience. So in this video, I want to share with you what I bring on my hiking trips, depending on the trail and the conditions. When I'm out hiking, I like to be as light as possible, while still being safe and protected from the elements. So based on the trail that I'm choosing and the weather conditions, I might choose different type of gear. So let's cover two examples that would cover most of 3-season hiking conditions. First, we have our lighter setup. Here we might be hiking in July or August. We might have shorter time between resupply points. There might be huts along the way. So if an accident happens, we will be much closer to civilization. Here we are talking about the hikes like Madeira, hiking the Alta V and the Dolomites, or to the Mont Blanc in the Alps. And now for the other example, we might hike during the summer, or it might be in the shoulder season. We might have colder temperatures during the day and during the night, and we might have longer time between resupply points. So we might have to carry food for 6, 7, 8 days. And here making a mistake could have a much bigger impact because we are further from civilization. So for example, they'll be hiking like the Wind River Range or the John Muir Trail, or places like here, the Canadian Rockies. So for my warmer and lighter setup, one of the major differences is which backpack I'll bring. I like to bring the Z-Packs 38-liter Nero backpack, which is pretty light and frameless. It's only 360 grams, including the padded back and the waist belt. And I can feed food for 3-4 days, and starting to carry 5 or 6 days, it can get pretty cramped. And in total, it carries weight comfortably for 9 to 10 kilo. If I have to carry heavier weight, I will choose my other pack. And now for the colder and more remote trips, I like to use the bigger backpack. And I have the Z-Packs Arco backpack, which is a 62-liter pack with 49 liters of internal volume. And it has a frame, so it carries the weight much more comfortably. Here I can feed food for 5, 6, 7 days. I can bring my warmer quilt and still have place for other accessories. Here for tent, I'll most certainly be carrying a fully enclosed tent, and I like my Z-Packs Duplex. It's a 2-person tent. It is on the expensive side, but it's pretty spacious and very light and uses my trekking poster setup, so I've been pretty happy with it. And for the tent, I'm also carrying a combination of 8 to 10 stakes and a polycro ground sheet. And here, if the temperatures will be dropping below freezing, I would most certainly also bring my warmer quilt, which is a -6 degree, a light equipment quilt, pretty lightweight but also pretty bulky. For the warmer temperatures, I have another quilt which is rated to -1 and takes much less space, which I usually bring on my warmer trips. Now let's talk about gear that I'll most certainly bring no matter the conditions. So for sleeping pads, I have both a foam pad and an inflatable pad. Recently I've been carrying more the inflatable pad, but I sleep okay on both of them. It's not like sleeping on a comfortable bed. It's just that one is less bulky, but it can get punctured, while this is pretty much just as comfortable, but a little more bulky. And for clothing, I would most certainly bring my light puffy jacket from Decathlon. I'll also bring a rain jacket. I'm bringing wind pants, a spare t-shirt. Depending on the condition, I might hike in shorts or I'll hike in long pants. I'll bring a spare pair of underwear, a spare pair of socks. And I'll most likely bring my sun hat and a warm hat for the night. And for hiking shoes, I usually hike in trail running shoes. I've hiked quite a lot in ultras, but I also have these shoes from REI, and they've been doing the job quite okay. I just make sure I buy bigger pair, so when going downhill I don't get blisters on my toes. And now let's talk about food. Here I also have 2 different systems, but lately I've been going the simpler route by cold soaking, where I bring food like couscous or noodles, where I soak them for an hour and the dinner is ready. So I have a plastic peanut butter jar and a collapsible spoon, and that's pretty much it. Now if it's going to be colder or I might want some more meals, I'll bring this 1-liter pot and a BRS stove, which is only 30 grams, but here I also have to carry this gas canister, and I also usually bring a small little sponge. For water storage, I would usually carry at least a 1-liter water bottle and a water filter, which also has a 1-liter carrying capacity. And for food storage, I would either carry this waterproof bag if I want to prevent any critters from getting to my food, or I might carry this stuff sack, which Some mice in a hut started to get through. It is a 15-liter bag. I can fit again 6-7 days of food, or I might just bring a plastic bag. And now let's talk about the smaller items. These items can be easy to forget, so that's why I usually have a list with all my gear, and before heading out I go through the list to make sure I don't forget anything. So an essential item for me is bringing this pack liner so I can protect my backpack and all the gear inside from getting wet. I'm also carrying this light load towel to dry out my tent or my cooking pot. I'm also carrying a pillow and a buff to cover the pillow as a pillowcase. For my first aid kit, I'm carrying a lighter, a knife, tweezers, needle, my headlamp, some blister care and some plasters. And for my toiletries, I have a collapsible toothbrush, a travel toothpaste, a small bottle of soap and a small bottle of sunscreen and some earplugs. And finally this emergency poncho, which can come handy in case I have some issues with my rain jacket. And now let's talk about electronics. I always make sure I bring a power bank. I have the Anker 10,000 mAh power bank. Sometimes I even bring 2 power banks to power my camera. And make sure to bring the right cable, because once I did a mistake and brought the wrong cable, and it can be a pretty big mistake, especially because we use our phones for navigation. To power up my camera, I have 3 extra batteries, and the camera itself is the Sony a7S Mark III. For lenses, I have a wide angle, a Samyang 80mm 2.8, and I have a standard zoom. It's a Pancake 28-60. And for the sound, I use a Rode Video Micro. And for my tripod, I have this Aoka tripod with a ball head that goes about this high. And sometimes to get a higher shot, I'll get to get creative and put it on trees or rocks. But that's pretty much all my electronics and camera gear. And that's pretty much it. That's the gear I've been using with me on my hiking trips over the last few years, and it has treated me well. So I hope you found this helpful and you're going to make better choices when heading out on your next trip. And let me know in the comments what's your favorite piece of gear that you always like to bring on your trips. Thank you for watching and happy hiking!